Hey, it's Tom Sinclair, that streaming idiot, coming to you with another great episode. At least I take that back. It's probably not going to be a good show. Save some time. Don't even watch this one. If you're watching on YouTube, turn it off. Subscribe first and then turn it off. If you're watching us live, you guys can leave now. You may have heard most of this already. Hey, we do stream this show live on Wednesday afternoons, about 3:45-ish Eastern time. We're a little late today. But we'd welcome you to come join us live. The guys in the chat room have a good time. They behave for the most part. Sometimes they plot against me, but that's all right. It's all in good fun. And they frequently have little tips and tricks that keep me from making a fool of myself. So that's always appreciated. Let's see, where are we going to go first? I think we're going to go first and say, one of the mottos that we work with in our shows is that one guy with one PC can do one awesome broadcast. And I really do believe that's true. Over 3 years ago, we started with our very first broadcast of that VidBlaster Guy in July 2012. We're starting our 4th year now for that show. This show's been going on about a year and a half, Streaming Idiots, and the purpose of this show is to kind of be, non-VidBlaster specific. That was the problem with the other show, is that we wanted to talk about capture cards and other software and things like that, but didn't feel like we could be true to our purpose in talking about VidBlaster if we did that. So Streaming Idiots was born. And Streaming Idiots, we're talking about all sorts of cool stuff and having cool guests. We had Eric Norrell with AJA Video Systems on last week to talk about his Kona 4 cards. It's a 4-port, high definition, in fact 4K definition capture device that passes uncompressed video through to the PC for processing. And does a great job. I mean, we're using it right now. We're using it with a Canon Vixia HF-R100 El Cheapo camcorder, and it really looks pretty darn good. Now, obviously, we've spent 3 times as much on the card as we have on that camera. Actually, not 3 times, maybe 30 times. Anyway, my math is, don't pay attention to my math. Between me and trying to figure out different time zones, I'm going to arrive 3 hours early or 3 hours late, I can assure you of that. But the Kona card does a great job, and thank you, Eric, for coming on the show last week. And you can get the Kona cards, I think, at B&H Photo. You can get them at Adorama Camera, places like that. If you are interested in that high-end, it's definitely a broadcast quality card. You can get those available, and Eric was a delight to come on the show and talk about that. He actually used to work for Wirecast for Telestream, and so he had a lot of background in that as well. So that was a lot of fun. And as we were talking about that, the idea that one guy with one PC and the right setup, the right software, the right capture devices, the right audio, can really do a good broadcast. And that can be in a church environment. It can be in a talk show environment like this. It can even be in a sporting environment. My good buddy, RJ Murdoch in Fort Walton Beach, Florida, had a men's NCAA basketball tournament back in December. I think it was Division II. But it was teams from all over the U.S. had come to Fort Walton Beach for a basketball tournament, and he broadcast the whole tournament. I think it was a 4-camera shoot by himself. Now, I think he had an announcer that was actually doing the play-by-play, but he did the whole show, the whole mixing and instant replay and camera work all by himself. And I think he had, a fixed camera for the whole court, and then maybe one on each. Oh no, I know what it was. He had a full court shot that was on a tripod, a half court shot that was on a tripod, and then mounted on top of that camera was a camera that was zoomed in a little bit more, so he could switch back and forth. He could follow the main shot, and when there was something in particular of interest, he could pop into what was right in the middle of that shot. Anyway, so he had figured out how one man with the right setup could do an awesome broadcast. So I think you can too. And we aim to teach you. We aim to teach you. We aim to learn you. That's how we say it down here in the South. We're going to learn you how to do that. We're going to learn you to do better. Full disclosure, by the way, I am I keep wanting to say licensed, but I'm really not licensed. I'm an authorized reseller for both VidBlaster and vMix. And boy, we just went offline there. Let's see if we can get that back. Are we still streaming? Are we still recording? Check, 1, 2, 3. We just kind of went crazy there for a second. Let me, still broadcasting. Okay, let's see if we can't clean this shot up a little bit. And see if we can fade in and fade back to it. Looks like maybe the resolution on the camera somehow. We lost power here ever so briefly. I don't know how we're still broadcasting, but in the process of doing that, it fouled up all our shots. So let's see if I can, on the quick and dirty here, do see if I can't fix. See if I can't fix this shot. Here we go. Oop. Kind of, there we go. Okay, sorry about that, guys. That may be the best we get right here in the middle of the show. But we lost power. And I've got a battery backup, but the battery backup apparently did not have enough juice to cover everything. I don't know whether I lost monitors. I wonder if, yeah, you know what that is. I don't have my monitors plugged into the battery backup, just the PC. So we didn't stop streaming. And I think I have a battery backup set on the router and the modem so that we covered for streaming, but I didn't think about the monitors. So how about that? Okay, anyway, boy, you know, that will that'll get your attention and makes me lose my train of thought. But the idea that one guy with one PC can do an awesome broadcast, you can do it in lots of different environments, and you need the right setup. And as an authorized VidBlaster reseller and vMix reseller, we can help you to kind of pick out the software that fits with the job you want to do and with the way that you understand how things could work. For example, VidBlaster is really easy to learn. But there's some features about vMix that I think are better than VidBlaster, but they're more complicated and a little tougher a little steeper learning curve to get there on it. So in addition to supplying software, we also design and build custom PCs. We got a PC on the workbench right now that we're building for a church out in Arkansas, and that has prompted us to come up with a concept, and I think it's going to be a good one, at least for some people, that we will have available, probably not this week, but maybe as soon as the middle of August. We will have custom-built PCs on the shelf, ready for shipping. So you can specify, you know, whether you want a single capture card for a camera, 2 capture cards, or a 2-port capture card, or a 4-port capture card. And we can put that together and ship it to you the next day. And so you can say, your pastor can say to you on Sunday, hey, let's do that streaming thing. And you order it on Monday, and we ship it, and you can have it by Wednesday or Thursday and practice on Friday or Saturday and be streaming the following Sunday. And it would be good quality equipment, you know, brand name components, not, you know, when you buy something from a company like Dell, and I'm not slamming Dell, but Dell, you know, goes out and finds the cheapest components it can possibly put in the PC. In our case, we're not looking for the cheapest. We're looking for the best components for the job. And so as a result, the price for something like this may be a little bit higher, but it's also custom designed for streaming, which PCs that you get at Best Buy or H.H. Gregg or, you know, wherever you might get your PCs quickly are not necessarily groomed specifically for that. And the biggest bonus of all is you get somebody like me, not somebody like me, you get me as your support in the event that you run into a problem. You're talking with somebody that knows the hardware inside and out because he built it, and knows the software inside and out because he sells and teaches people how to use it. And so you won't get a lot of run around with everybody blaming everybody else. Oh, it's a hardware problem. Oh, it's a software problem. Oh, it's a capture card problem. Well, we can put it together and be responsible for all of it and give you a lifetime technical support, your life or mine, whichever comes first. And I intend to live a long time. So hope you do too. So we got that out of the way. So all the full disclosure about all the stuff we do. Coming up soon, it's going to be really fun. Back in the fall, I think it was, we did a roundtable for VidBlaster users where we talked about using VidBlaster. Well, we've taken the same concept of a roundtable, which is not going to really be round, of course. It's going to be virtual. But we've taken the concept of a roundtable and we're going to apply that to church streaming. So my good buddy Alan Bunt with Good Shepherd Lutheran Church up in Wisconsin, who is a church streaming guru, he is going to co-host the roundtable with me. We're going to do it either in August or September. We haven't picked out a date yet. It may be an evening show in hopes that we can have a good live audience, because something like this really does benefit from the chat room where you can ask questions and then have 4 or 5 experts respond to the questions. So we're thinking something like that's going to be a lot of fun and will really help meet a need. We're coming to the end of the summer. We're coming to the beginning of the new year, even though it's not January, it's September. And for a lot of folks, that marks the end of the end of summer and the beginning of a new year as folks go back to school and churches kind of kick off their fall programs. And so you may decide that streaming would be a good way to start your fall program. You'll want to make sure that you pop in on that show, and we'll announce it. We'll have it posted on our website, easternshorebroadcasting.com, so you'll know when it is. And, of course, we'll have it recorded if you miss it. So that'll be the Church Streaming Roundtable coming up with Tom Sinclair and Alan Bunt next month or in September, and you won't want to miss it. If you are in church streaming and feel like, hey, I've got something I could share, and you're interested in being on the roundtable, we're not going to have a lot of folks because we want to make sure that everybody has time to share in some degree of depth, because it's really the depth that brings the richness to it, I think. So we'll probably have me and Al and then maybe 4 others. And we're looking for folks from a variety of backgrounds, variety of church backgrounds, variety of geographic backgrounds, variety of backgrounds in terms of streaming equipment, software, hardware. And so that people can say, okay, well, they're doing this and it's working that way, and they're doing that and it's working that way. And, you can, I think, get a good idea if we give you sort of a smorgasbord of different options. The sponsor for that broadcast will be a company that I'm starting, Church Streaming PC, where we'll have the custom-built streaming PCs on the shelf ready to go. So we'll be sponsoring that show. That'll be a lot of fun. A lot of fun, I think. What else is news? On the sorry, this is like a terrible infomercial. We have been approved just recently as a Magewell capture card reseller. So if you are interested in Magewell capture cards, we will have them all available for immediate shipment. It's an amazing deal. It just, don't ask me the details. It was just one of those things. So if you want to send me an email, tom@streamingidiots.com, and say, hey, Tom, I'm interested in a card, wink, wink, can you give me a stuffed bunny rabbit to go with it? I can probably find a way to do that. But as a Magewell reseller, I'm not allowed to advertise any discounted prices. Okay? So I'm probably going to get my hands slapped for that one first time out of the box. You've only been a dealer a week and you're already doing... Anyway, you get a stuffed bunny. A stuffed bunny. There we go. So I need a stuffed bunny to show when I do that. All right. So that's great. And we'll be featuring some of the Magewell cards on future shows so that you can get an idea for how they work. In fact, the PC build that we're doing for the church in Arkansas is going to have 2 4-port HD SDI capture cards from Magewell in there. So it'll be 8 inputs coming into this beast of a PC. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll take some pictures of it before I ship it off. So that'll be fun. Somebody in the chat room says, as long as the infomercials are full of info, then I'm happy. Well, we aim to please, Tommy. We'll do the best we can, and we'll try to keep lots of good info coming your way. And appreciate you popping in. On the news front, VidBlaster has released a new official version of VidBlaster, VidBlaster 4.10. It's the first of the version 4s to be released officially. You can get it from vidblaster.com. You can get it from us at easternshorebroadcasting.com. If you have a VidBlaster 3 license that's less than a year old, you get a free upgrade. If your license is older than a year, or it's version 1 or version 2, but you do want to upgrade to version 4, it will cost you 50% of whatever the retail price is of the version you have. So you don't have to buy the whole thing again. You get a 50% discount on the upgrade. And I think version 4 is the best VidBlaster has ever done. It's not perfect. There's still some things that need to be worked out and improved, but it's the best. It's right now we are using version 4 as a recorder, as a recorder streamer for this broadcast. We're doing the switching in vMix and streaming one feed in vMix. vMix can't stream 2 different feeds of 2 different resolutions to 2 different sites simultaneously. And so we've got VidBlaster streaming the second stream, and VidBlaster's recording the 720 feed. So it's good stuff. In fact, both vMix and VidBlaster, and I think Wirecast too, are all using kind of FFmpeg behind the scenes and tweaking it different ways as they know how. So I think that's one of the improvements we can see in VidBlaster is VidBlaster kind of gets in there and figures out ways to tweak vMix, to tweak FFmpeg to squeeze some more efficiency out of it. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. Coming up very soon, and we don't know what very soon means. It could mean in a day, a week, a month, but very soon, vMix version 16 will be released. It's in beta right now, or probably alpha right now, and it's packed with all sorts of features. We'll go into those some more on our show next week as we take a closer look at vMix 16. And vMix 16, of course, is available in standard definition versions all the way up to 4K versions, and the Pro version, which includes 4 channels of high definition instant replay for you sporting guys. So that's, I think that's about all the infomercials I had. Coming up next week or the week after that, not sure, it just depends. We built a new PC here for the show. It's sort of for the show, but it's also a test bed in order to allow us to test different cards and other kinds of contraptions that would go along. We'd been using a micro ATX-based PC, and the case was just so darn small, and the micro ATX motherboard just didn't have enough options in terms of what do you call those little things? Slots. Yeah, PCIe slots. And so we built a bigger one. It's still based on second generation i7 architecture that we're using that 2600K CPU overclocked to about 3.8, I think, and we fixed our cooling problem. And so that test bed will allow us to test some more equipment. I guess that's why I was telling you the story. Currently, it's got the Kona 4 card in it from AJA Video Systems, and we appreciate Eric Norrell being there with us last week to talk about that. Coming up, once we pull the AJA card out, we'll be popping a much different kind of technology card in. This will be, let me put it, I should have had the camera set up right, but I didn't. Sorry about that. The StarTech 4-port PCI Express USB 3.0 with 4 dedicated 5 gigabit channels. And and power, by the way. The idea behind this little guy is that this becomes a poor man's 4-port capture card. And that's why we want to test it and see if it's going to work. I've got 3 webcams plugged into my PC right now, or not plugged in as the case may be. And what I found, I used to do this show exclusively with the Logitech C920 webcam, and then had a second one set up to give you kind of a desktop shot, sort of a shot like, like this one. You don't see my peanuts and my Gatorade there, but and then I had a second Logitech. In fact, I got it right here on a little mini tripod, and I would use that to display products here on the desktop. What I found out was that using 3 Logitechs, each Logitech would eat up anywhere from 12 to 20% of the CPU use. And man, I can't lose 40 to 60% of my CPU with some cameras like that. And so I put in a Blackmagic Intensity Pro card, and I'm using my Canon Vixia HF-R100, little cheap handy cam I bought. And it's great. The CPU usage went way down. Now with the Kona card, the CPU usage is low too. But of course the Kona card retails for, $19.95. That's $1,995, not $19.95. But my hope is that this StarTech card will allow me to plug multiple Logitechs in and not have them suck CPU like they have before. If that works, I'm thinking it becomes great for somebody that's got a small studio. You can get away with using a boom, like I've got my mic on a boom right here. You can put the Logitech cam on the boom, and you can swivel it around, point it wherever you want to. If you've got two guests, you can adjust it one way. If you've got no guests, you can take it on as a side shot for your desktop and show folks what's going on behind the scenes. Not that they want to see your Gatorade and your peanuts, but it also has possibilities, I think, in some sports applications, something like a gymnasium sport like volleyball or basketball, where you can set up static shots, and it wouldn't have to necessarily be every shot, but you could use USB extenders and put these things all over the place, and have some good options for switching cameras. I think it also could work in a meeting room situation, and that would include churches, where you could have these mics either permanently or temporarily mounted different places to give you different specific shots. Now, you're not going to be able to pan at all. Well, I guess you can electronically pan with eating up some of your resolution, and you can electronically zoom, digitally zoom, I guess is the proper way to say it, but it wouldn't be a physical zoom, optical zoom. So you're just decreasing your resolution. But it would be doable, and the cost it becomes less prohibitive. So anyway, we're going to see if this is doable, and we'll be reporting back to you about that. In this case, it's the StarTech 4-port PCI Express USB 3.0 cards with 4 dedicated 5 gigabit channels and USASP SATA/LP4 power. Gotta have power. There are other cards available, and the one downside that I've heard to this card already is, let me get it up close so you can see, is the orientation of the USB slots, and then depending on the configuration of your case, I guess it would be a case thing, not a motherboard thing, that some of these USB plugins may not be available if the cover in the back is a little wide in some areas. So we'll give you the whole shooting match info on that one, and that will be next week or the week after. What else is coming up on Streaming Idiots? We're going to have the representative from Magewell on. Not sure when, but it will be soon. We use Chatwing as our chat room software, and it runs separately. If you go to our website, you can see there. I mean, you can see how it gets implemented on the page, or you can pop it out and use it separately. And we're hoping to have somebody from Chatwing pop in and talk about chat rooms and things like that. So that will be a lot of fun. What else? Had a buddy in here day before yesterday that works with schools and colleges, setting them up with live streaming, and it's Wi-Fi Sports, and they're out of Memphis, Tennessee, Collierville, and they basically have got a turnkey appliance where they supply the PC with the software. And keyboard, mouse, monitor, capture card, cables, cameras, mixer, microphones, headset mics, and crowd mics, and CDN, and they're CDN. So you buy the whole package from them, you stream to them, and you embed it on your website, and they record your stream. I mean, it's really, really nicely done. That's Charlie Helms with Wi-Fi Sports. You can find them online. I think it's wifisports.com or .net. I'll find out and post it in the show notes so you'll know. But it's it's expensive as all get out, but it's a turnkey package, and I think the only thing he doesn't sell as part of that is internet access. You got to provide your own internet access. So there are all sorts of folks doing all sorts of cool stuff with this stuff. And I think the sky is the limit. The sky is the limit. Anyway, so I'm rambling a little bit now, and I can tell you that it means that it's time for me to go back to my peanuts and Gatorade. So we're going to take leave. If you're in chat, hang around. I've got plenty to share. But if you're watching us on YouTube, you'll just have to tune in live and see what kind of treat we've got going. I'm Tom Sinclair. This has been Streaming Idiots on the Streaming Idiot Network. No, it's not that bad. But we would love to have you subscribe on YouTube and tune in and watch us Wednesdays, about 3:45 Eastern and 8:45 if you are in England. It's a delight to come around to you. If I can help you in any way, shoot me an email. Tom@easternshorebroadcasting.com, and I will get back to you ASAP. So, till then, take care.